Hello everybody, how you doing? It's Damon yet again, and today's gonna be a list in a way. It's I saw as I mentioned to you guys, I saw the Odyssey nearly a week and a half ago, and I thought it was amazing. It's to me, spoiler alert for people who didn't see the top Nolan movies of all time. To me, it's my number six movie now of all time of Nolan, and I don't disagree with it. I thought it was very, very well done. But yeah. I really liked it. Is there some things that would say it's a perfect movie? No, there's five other Nolan movies that were better. And to be honest with you, I find myself I was not only refreshing to see the Odyssey, but it's like it cleared my mindset thinking. Like before I saw Oppenheimer, before I saw the Odyssey, I was starting to think that maybe Nolan, while still being great, wasn't nailing as many bangers after masterpiece after masterpiece after masterpiece, like Seamus would do banger after banger after banger. He wasn't. And then there was Oppenheimer, and it was Oppenheim-tastic. And then you have Odyssey, which I felt was, I hate hearing epic, but it was a damn good movie. With one scary scene that nearly reminded me a bit of Tim Burton's practical effect in Beetlejuice, and I think you know which one I'm talking about. But hey, I used to be startled by the Beetlejuice eye popping scene where Beetlejuice eyes pop out, and really was, okay? But hey, I love that movie. And I can understand if people said I didn't like the movie because I felt it was 2 hours, 15 minutes, could have shaved sometimes. I get it. I complain about movie lengths all the time. I said that John Wick 4 was pretty good, but it wasn't 2 hours, 50 minutes worthy. No, it could have shaved off 20 minutes of that runtime, especially the Japan scenes, because even the character, John Wick character, and everybody else was saying nothing. Basically, we went to Japan for nothing, and I was laughing. My girlfriend said, basically, it's the actors with the stereo saying, "Hey, it looked flashy. Japan scene looked flashy, nightclub." But let's be honest, it solved nothing of the problem. It added nothing to the script. It just was more action for the sake of action, and I don't mind that. I love that the movie. I love John Wick 4, but let's call it as it is. That scene was superfluous. Superfluous. Anyway, the problem I have with this, and I do believe that Odyssey and Project El Mari will be nominated for Best Picture at the Academy Awards. They kind of have no choice. They're both tied as my favorite movies of the year, but why you have a right to dislike the movie if you thought that the material wasn't compelling, and some people were saying, you know what, I find it tedious, it was long. It's like I get that point of view. I could actually understand that point of view. What I don't understand is when people started before the movie started, before the movie was actually a movie theater, some of them wanted to fail badly because they wanted to project the narrative that the movies are failing. And today it shows that Nolan ain't failing. Nolan isn't failing. Cinema isn't failing. It's just people got more selective. That's it. That's all. It's not dying anything. It's just people are more selective. And the number one reason why it brought me this, and I wasn't gonna mention anything until people are just like the same people were basically insulting Emily Wilson, who did the modern retelling of Odyssey. They were complaining about her. Basically, they were saying, "Why is it our vision? Why is our vision basically being complained about?" Basically, they were complaining about her, and now that she said she didn't like the movie Odyssey, all of a sudden the same people who insulted her are praising her. And I thought it was ridiculous. Like, get over yourself, man. Which one do you want to? She didn't turn face. It's just an opinion. And it's not the first time that an author did not like the movies based on their books. It's not the first time. It's not going to be the last time. But the first, I just think that people were just like, ooh, I can't wait for this movie to fail. I'm sorry, you're kind of sad. It went from sad to pathetic really fast. First off, people were basically being pissed off by the casting because it's not historically accurate. Let me tell you something, a little bit of advice about the Odyssey. It's fiction. It's a work of fiction. It is. But at the same time, it's a work of fiction where you all basically really, really pissed off. Just that same thing that's pissed off with the tragedy of like Macbeth, the movie The Tragedy of Macbeth, the casting of it? What about the casting 996 Romeo plus Juliet from Baz Luhrmann with Leonardo DiCaprio and Claire Danes at the lead? Were you pissed off then? No, you weren't. Or how about the modern, I think the Hamlet movie in 2000, you know? The Hamlet movie in 2000 with Ethan Hawke, basically the one with as Bill Murray and Ethan Hawke and this, and was directed by Michael Amiriyada. It's a modern retelling. Were you angry by it? With the casting? Because you should, in that case, you should have been consistent. You should have been, oh, you didn't care? You didn't care. You're an hypocrite. Okay? All of them as a work of fiction. Why are you angry about that? I mean, and yeah, I don't see why you basically all of you were basically modern. I'm like you weren't pissed about that, but you're pissed about an Odyssey, which let's be honest, it's a work of fiction. Again, work of fiction. Yeah, there's a lot of things that are not accurate but with Nolan. I mean, the armor is not exactly this. It looked cool. So first off, right there from get-go, I think it's pathetic. People were rooting against it because it's not who I would have cast. Well, get over it. And it's not the first time the director casted something you didn't want to. It's not even the first time that Nolan did cast somebody that you people were pissed off. Oh wait, he cast Heath Ledger. And I remember in 2006, people were pissed off and were wanting for the movie to fail. And what happened then? He turned the plan on themselves. He turned it on themselves. Turned their plan onto themselves. Like, why are you being angry so much there? That's one. Then two. Then they were saying that prediction they would hope they would bomb or be just a modest is. And what? Why would you want to for it to bomb? It's a Nolan movie, and as of this time, I'm basically saying this, it's 652 millions in 1 week and a half. It's gonna pass Project El Mari soon, but it needs around three less than 400 millions to actually be the biggest grossing movie of the year. And you think you're gonna impede that progress? Nah, it's a flop. Some of you haven't deluded yourself this, and some of you ever truly think that the real Rotten Tomato score is hidden within a secret act. Like it's becoming what the hell, man? What is this conspiracy theorist? Maybe just a movie. Maybe most people, and that's the thing with the Rotten Tomatoes. Maybe not everybody loved it, but most of them, the vast majority, at least liked it. Same thing with Dark Knight Rises. If I hear people basically online, it's like nobody really liked that movie. When most of them, 97% of the critics loved it. And, oh, I guess I don't know, 90% the fucking different of the overall audience loved it. See, this is how I get because it's becoming really, really stupid to hear that. Now, okay, so we're saying 1 week and a half, it's 652 million. I don't think any other movie bar, maybe Toy Story or Mario Brothers, Super Mario Galaxy this year has made that money back so fast. Because Nolan understands that it's about making an experience. If the animated movie is for kids, but also for nostalgia factors, Michael, again, nostalgia factor, but Nolan is not nostalgia factor, it's a Nolan factor, and he takes you for an experience, he takes you for an epic just about each and every time for a movie. And it's not a move thing of old people. The same people wanted it to be a flop, want the movie theater to fail because they think would cater to their whims. But to quote the Joker, basically, they think it's gonna go back to the way it used to be. But guess what? I've seen the truth. There's no going back because Nolan changed things, or cinema has changed things forever. It's not going back to that time. And again, still mention it. People complain about Heath Ledger, his Joker being cast in 2006, and we're promising that the Dark Knight would fail. And look what happened now. It's the best super movie, bar none of all time. It's just that people basically like right now. It's not a superhero movie fatigue. It's maybe price of movie theaters too high, and people happen to be more selective on which movie they're going to see. How about that? And truth be told, how about they want to see a good story? That's it, with good relative character. But again, at this moment, the Odyssey is about to pass Project Hail Mary, and it might at least reach the same ceiling that Toy Story 5, Michael, and Super Mario Galaxy did this year. But it's a flop, right? It's a flop. Many movie directors would kill to have that kind of movie flop. And FYI, guys, you hoped it flopped? Number three. Here's the thing that basically a summary of Nolan movies. You know, you complain about this. Here's the thing. Dark Knight Rises, 1.0 whatever billion dollars. Dark Knight, $1 billion. Oppenheimer, 900 something, near $1 billion. Inception, 839 or so million dollars they got at box office. Interstellar with 700 or something. The Odyssey is next up with 652 millions. The Batman Begins around $40 million. Dunkirk, sorry, it's 527 millions. I think Tenet was 350 millions, and that because it was during that time, but we all know that time the reason why it didn't. Nolan is not gonna flop under normal circumstances, and it didn't there. And again, it's fiction. And four factor. Okay, Emily Wilson disliked her movie, and all of a sudden, you couldn't grasp at the fact that the casting's not gonna work. It worked. Oh, the movie's gonna bomb. It didn't. The movie's gonna suck. It was awesome. And now, afterwards, it wasn't hysterically awesome. It was. It wasn't necessarily accurate. Sorry, it's a work of fiction. Oh, Elon Musk. Elon Musk will do an AI. It sucked. It looked ridiculous and pathetic. Like you should be ashamed for even liking it. But now that Emily Wilson dislikes the Odyssey, here's my opinion. She's entitled to everything she says she entitled to every one of her opinion. She has the right not to dislike it. It's her opinion. She still wrote some of it, like changed some things and wrote some of it. She has every right to not like a movie. But again, it's not the first time that an author didn't like the movie that's based on. You probably heard of Ken Casey. I don't know, the writer of One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. He famously disliked the movie that it was based on. He basically called it one of the worst movies, especially the fact is it's one of my favorite movies ever, and it's one of my favorite books ever. Both of them are fighting like parents for the kids' affection. It's like I love you both equally. But both were different. Why? Because the author sometimes is so attached to his work of art, they don't understand that some things have to be changed for the big screen. I mean, uh, One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, the book is based upon basically seen from the eye of Chief Bromden, whereas the movie is based and seen from the eyes of Randall Patrick McMurphy, played by Jack Nicholson. Because I don't know, Jack Nicholson's a bigger star. It's not the first time it happened. Stephen King famously disliked the Stanley Kubrick Shining, again in a movie with Jack Nicholson, because they wanted somebody else. They wanted to basically show a more supposedly normal looking guy. And whereas Jack Nicholson was already half there, this character. But it's like, again, while I might not be a huge fan of the movie, I love Nicholson and Shelley Duvall's performance in that movie. I mean, I think Alan Moore didn't like the Watchmen movie. And it's like, dude, it's pretty much the same thing, bar they just changed the giant squid because it made no sense, the scope of the story. And Mario Puzo didn't like his own script of The Godfather. He thought it was his movie there. It's like, eh. So I don't know how I really thought about his movie, but he didn't like his own script. And look what it was, one of his best ones. So, and yeah, I think Tim Burton doesn't even like Batman 89. To me, it's like all those artists have all the rights to their opinion. It should be respected, but should also understand that because just because they don't like it doesn't mean you have to. And people were saying that Emily Wilson disliked the movie. It's like you talk about people, the same people complain about, oh, whatever this, people are sheep like in the Odyssey. Well, you're just as much of a sheep because the moment she says she doesn't like the Emily Wilson, which the moment Emily Wilson said she doesn't like the movie, which you were wired not to like, all of a sudden you clamor for opinion on this one. You basically jump and itch your wagon to opinion. Yay! And it's pathetic. You have every right to not like the movie, but to act like this is beyond pathetic. And guess what? Things will change for a movie because some things don't adapt well. She complained that honestly, there's some things that change. I understand why they were changed because Odysseus basically has to be more sympathetic, and in the actual poem, sometimes he wasn't. I mean, he helped his man, but basically was decided on his own free will, by the way, to be with Cersei for a year after what she done to her man, to his man, after she nearly tried to poison him. I mean, the movie was more comprehensible what she was with Calypso because get poisoned, not poisoned, but basically had an amnesia-inducing lotus flower, and that made sense in the scope of that movie because his goal, his only love until then, was Penelope. It has to make sense. There's a lot of things that if you were to put right from paper into movie, it doesn't add up because there's a lot of background that's missing. The Back to the Shire scene in the Lord of the Rings trilogy. I mean, you had epic climax at the end that basically Mount Mordor. I mean, you already had your emotion be exhausted there. Imagine having all those semi endings to come back to the Shire and you have to deal with this. You'd be exhausted. That's for any literature. If I want to see the entire point of view of the book, I'd buy the book and that'd be it. One flew over the cuckoo's nest. Cheswick dies in that movie. In the middle of the movie, in the middle of the book, he dies because he's drawn, and that would have been much more depressing than need to be. And especially the fight at the end between Nurse Ratched and Randall Patrick Murphy is much more, let's just say, less film friendly. So when I hear this, like for any author, they have to understand that some things they cut out, and it's not their fault. They're very good They're very author. The authors are very good. Emily Wilson's damn good there. Kay Casey's damn good. Tim Burton is damn good. Stephen King is damn good. But sometimes, I'm sorry, your opinion about the book is your opinion. It's not fact. It's because you're so attached to that point of view of has been the artist of and the creator of this work of art that you can't see the point of view of somebody else. Like some of my short story, I remember one short story I wrote, I didn't really like, but supposedly some people loved it more than the other short story I actually loved that I wrote. And I couldn't understand that, but it's because you're so attached to that point of view, so subjectively attached to one that you don't understand the point of view of others. But as an artist, you can see that. Even a writer, you can understand that. But again, that's my point of view. And in short, because I don't feel like rambling and saying the same point all over again, you have every right to dislike the Odyssey. But to root for it to fail, or to say Elon Musk will be AI, basically going to give Mel Gibson enough, basically 100 millions to do this movie, yeah, like he did for Apocalypto, it was 40 millions, and he ended up winning what, 100 million around? Yeah, he wouldn't win that money back, but Nolan would. So, and I love Mel Gibson, director, but still, get over yourself. And if you don't like the movie, don't like the movie. But just because everybody's having fun with this movie and watching this movie doesn't mean you need to poison everybody else with your toxic opinion. Get a life, get a clue, go touch grass. In that case, I'll catch you guys later for booking. Peace. And that's not even related to most of you. It's just to some of you, with some people who still understand that people are allowed to want to like, or just like any movie they want to. Take care. Bye.